Hi, everyone. This is the Swan Fireside Chat for March 28th, 2023. My name's Aaron Skog. I'm the Master of Ceremonies for this month's monthly membership meeting. I'm going to turn off my camera, save on a little bandwidth for you folks. And you are now seeing the screen here. If you have questions at all about today's meeting, we do have an agenda here of what we're going to go over. Feel free to utilize the chat, or you can unmute yourself if you'd like and ask questions. We like to think of this as interactive. There's a group of SWAN staff here that are going to provide updates on these topics. So for those that don't know, Addison Public Library is in the process of joining the consortium. So that project is underway. We've had a membership approval and the Addison board has approved. We'll talk about where we're at with the MessageBee service. That's a new service that is in the process of being rolled out to all member libraries. Our IT system support group has been battling some issues with email bounces. We're going to talk about that, and we'll explain a little bit about what's going on there. And then we have two group purchases that are also things that are underway with their renewals. We'll talk about that. And updates to our learning management system. We have a new course. And then we'd like to also always include an Aspen tip of the month. And then Crystal's going to talk about our mentor program that the Circulation Advisory Group has going. And we'll conclude by just an overview of some meetings and training that we have coming up. So I'm going to move on just to let everyone know about us as far as Addison. Where we're at right now is the project timeline is focused on training for Addison staff. The good news about this training, it's all virtual. This just allows us to record these webinars, and then we're also able to post these. So these are all available as we complete these for any of you that are new to SWAN and want to learn about these topics. They're all being posted. So we also are going to be doing some office hours as well. So with our folks at Addison. So there is a data portion of the project that will be kicking off in earnest, but I just want to let you all know where that's at. You're not going to be really seeing anything in your Symphony workflow setup at all at this point. We will let you know during an update as far as when you will, and we'll also send out a SwanCom when we reach any significant milestones where you're going to see Addison. We did have a question, I think, last month as to what Addison's three-letter code would be, and it's beautifully simple, ADD. Michael Zarmak, if you're here, let's have you give the update on where we're at with MessageBee. It's really starting to make some progress.
It really is. Hi, everyone. I'm Michael Zarmak. I'm one of the system administrators here at SWAN. And as Aaron mentioned, I want to give you a quick update about MessageBee. Well, finally, we have gone live with testing for IL libs and SWS notices. We've been doing that for about 2 weeks now, almost 2 weeks. And on the right-hand side, this is what one of the actual templates look like. You may have had some of your non-SWAN Chicago RB patrons come up and make note of this and mention something like, hey, your notices are starting to look different. Well, that's the case because we started live testing. Just some progress reports here. We do have to make some tweaks behind the scenes here for the build notices. We're working with Source Edonics on that, and we're working, we have a meeting with our consultant tomorrow about that. So what we're still doing is finishing up on reviewing the remaining templates. That's going to be done actually today, and I'm hoping to get out the information back to Unique later today, if not tomorrow. We did have a little bit of a glitch when we first started with the SMS notices, but that has been fixed. The issue was that the carrier was marking them as spam. As you can see at the bottom here, this is an actual live graph of what our progress looked like from since we started. You'll see in the beginning there that, well, first of all, the top line there, that's the notices that were delivered, and the bottom one is the failures. You can see in those first couple of days, we had a little bit of a glitch there with those SMS notices, but then it evened out a couple of days after Unique was able to fix that. It had an issue with the URL. Again, that's been taken care of. That's not going to be an issue going live. And as you can see, since then, things have been pretty smooth. Our failure rate is really low, and the ones that have been failing are just the normal kind of thing, like email address or the phone number isn't valid. We see a few of them from time to time that the inbox has gone over quota, something like that, but nothing major, no major issues. So things are moving along, and pretty soon your emails are, your notices, excuse me, are going to start looking like very similar to the template on my previous slide, and you're going to be able to do these cool reports and graphs as showing here on the slide. So stay tuned for that. We're moving along.
Yeah, we don't have any training announcements just yet for folks that are wondering. This has been primarily getting the template set up. We're doing some quality control review right now that is taking place just between Swan staff and Unique, making sure your library logos look right. The added challenge here, if I can note this for everyone, is that we are also not just doing this for English language notices. These are also going to include Spanish and Polish. So our intention is to deliver the service to you all with those languages. We'll discuss adding other languages. This will be like a post go live. Our intention is to really get things going here internally, making sure that the data goes over to Unique in the proper format. And we thought we'd start with a group of Swan staff. So Swan staff is a small group, but then using, as Michael noted, patrons that are, let's just say non-Swan patrons, the bulk of which is Chicago, right?
Chicago is definitely a good chunk. There's a lot of non-Swan as
Right.
well. And just to clarify too, the notices that are going out, they're first and second overdues, they're hold pickup, hold reminders, and bill for email as well.
So, but as we said, we're working on the what are the templates, particularly looking at the email templates, making sure those have links and graphics, your library information, address, phone, any contact info, and social media links. Ian's been leading us, our IT system support group, through some fixes to some bounce emails. So Ian, if you're here, jump in here. I'll ask you a few questions here because you're noting some vendors here that probably most of our libraries have never heard of, Twilio and SendGrid. Maybe you just want to touch on who those are.
Sure. Pardon me. So, hi, I'm Ian Nosek. I'm the IT and system support manager here at Swan. SendGrid is our bulk email provider. So essentially, every notice that comes through Symphony, reports, tons, checkout receipts, basically everything gets sent through this SendGrid product, which was recently acquired in the past few years by Twilio. They're a big provider in email and SMS for a lot of major companies. So they're incredibly reliable. They've been pretty good to work with, but if you recall in the February Fireside, we did mention that we noticed a bit of a spike in emails that were called a bounce drop. So I'll get into that in a second. But essentially what we did is we started looking into that, and right around the same time, a couple libraries opened tickets indicating that some of their staff hadn't been receiving email. So we started digging into that, and we ended up working with Twilio support. And they suggested several areas that we could address to improve our ability to get emails from one end to an inbox, essentially. So what we had to do is we had to work in conjunction with SendGrid and our DNS provider, DNS Made Easy, to essentially add tags for every single one of our domains, had to verify some email, had to validate DNS entries. So basically just a bunch of things that confirmed to SendGrid that we are who we say we are. So once that happened, we purged the bounce list. And if I can get the next slide, Aaron.
Sure.
Thank you. So the bounce list is essentially just as an email is sent out and it is bounced back for whatever reason. Generally speaking, it's because the email address is not spelled correctly or it just doesn't exist, something like that. So the system assumes at that point that this email address doesn't exist. So it adds it to the bounce list. As new emails come through, they are pre-processed by SendGrid. SendGrid references this bounce list and says, these emails are no good, toss them. So they don't send emails to anybody on that bounce list. At that point, basically, once the email has bounced, it stops sending to that. The issue that we were having is that since some of the sending email addresses and domains weren't fully validated, some carriers said that there was, a high likelihood that this might not be coming from who we say we are. So it essentially rejected it, dropped a bunch of emails to the bounce list. And then when we saw the spike, we started investigating. So essentially what we've done is we have validated every possible domain that Swan owns. There are a couple domains that we see occasional traffic from, specifically Cersei Dynix domain, but it's few and far between. So we are investigating kind of where that's coming from because we obviously don't own a cerseiDynix.com domain, so we are unable to validate that. So we just need to see what's sending on behalf of that and see how we can reroute it. So the above graph just sort of indicates it's the last 90 days. I tried to go back farther, but it's a really chaotic graph, as you might imagine. So every single one of these spikes indicates, a day that had over 1,000 of these bounce drops. And going back prior to this 90 days, we were seeing spikes like this constantly. So when we identified the issue in early February as we were processing our reports for January, we modified the settings. There's a little red mark on February 22nd when we made the changes. And at that point, things have been very quiet. We've had a couple spikes, one that was a little more notable. And what these are essentially is everything that we cleared off of the bounce list included a bunch of emails that were not valid. So what we're essentially seeing here is the system kind of rebalancing itself and adding users that are legitimately not real to the bounce list. And now that the bounce list is smaller, we can begin to review that a little more. And we also, as we receive bounce emails, I know you receive reports for non-swans. I believe you also receive the reports directly of any other bounce emails. When Swan receives them, we will occasionally try to fix them if it's obvious what a problem was. If you're trying to send something at gmail.com, those are pretty easy to figure out. But
it's
essentially,
all the way in. I hear it snip. I click on earbuds.
I think we're okay there. I think we had someone had a hot
somebody
mic.
was unmuted. Anyway, no worries. So we're going to continue to monitor this. Again, there's a couple spikes through the weeks following the change that we made. Again, that's sort of rectifying the emails that are truly invalid. So we're going to continue to watch it. but essentially we feel that this should significantly decrease the number of emails that are not getting to patrons and Swan staff. So we'll keep everybody posted, and that's all I have today. Thanks.
Thanks, Ian. And Olivia Mutlin is going to give us an update on 2 group purchases, the EBSCO group purchase renewals, and it's year 4 renewal. And there's a timeline here.
Hi, everyone. So this slide is just going to cover our EBSCO group purchase renewal, where we are at in that renewal. So you'll see over to the right hand of the slide here, we have some important dates coming up. April 24th, that's when our database selection form will open. So this is where that form where you will indicate whether you choose to update your 4 optional databases that are included with your package. If you wanted to update those, you can. And then, of course, that form will be open for 2 weeks, and then we'll go ahead and close that. And that is so that we could get everything prepared and over to Rails, and so they could work with EBSCO to get your links and everything out on time, which is why we've upped it a little bit earlier this year than maybe it has been in the past. Over to the left, we've got some other things that are going on with EBSCO. So there is a demo that's coming up next week on April 5th at noon. This is hosted by Rails, and it's exclusive to the public libraries. So if you want to see what EBSCO is going to be demoing, what they'll be talking about, any sort of features that maybe you can take advantage of that you are not currently taking advantage of, certainly register for that. I will be there. So that registration is available on L2. Also, just to note that there's been some updated pricing for the group purchase that's available on our Swan support site. So if you have been keeping track of our news, our latest news articles, definitely take a look at that and see kind of where everything stands with your EBSCO renewal price. And then if you could just go to the next slide, thanks. So Comics Plus, this is our other group purchase update here. Current subscribers with Comics Plus have you've already been receiving your renewal notices. That's great. And this is kind of what prompted us to kind of get in contact with Comics Plus and get everything listed here. So if you are a current subscriber, your renewal information is over on the right. Pricing information is also available on our Swan group discounts page. So there are 2 links on that discounts page. One is going to be for renewing libraries, and the other one is for libraries who are, if you choose to join us. So that information is over to the left. Just kind of some tidbits here. Your readers will have unlimited simultaneous access. That pricing is available on our Swan group discount page. We take care of everything here at Swan for you. All you have to do is indicate whether or not you want to join the subscription for Comics Plus, and we will handle all of the back and forth with Comics Plus to get your library set up. Also to note, there is a demo for the public libraries that's hosted by us and Comics Plus. That is for Thursday, April 6th. Again, registration is available on L2. Also, sorry, I failed to mention our current form. So we have a form available on our Swan support site for renewing or opting out. If you have already submitted a ticket with us to help@swanlibraries.net, indicating whether or not you are renewing, you do not have to do anything else. I'm keeping track of that. But if you haven't filled out this form to either renew or join, you can certainly do that. The form will be there up until June 1st. And after June 1st, if I have not heard from a specific library that was a current subscriber, I will be reaching out to you. So, just to make sure that there is no miscommunication. Thanks.
Great, thank you. And there's a new class that has been added to our online learning management system. Claudia.
Good morning, everyone. This is Claudia. We have a new course in our learning management system. We have just released General Local Practices and Cataloging, which is the first in a series of local practices courses. Some of the topics covered in this course are local tags, required fields for precats and full records, fiction and fiction facet, and much more. So I encourage you to check out our new course. I also included some statistical information in this slide. We have 14 courses in patron services and technical services. We have 321 users in our learning management system and 702 class registrations. So please check out our new course. Thank you.
Great, thank you. And our Aspen tip of the month will be brought to you by Tara Wood.
Everyone, we had a recent Aspen update, which we have every month. We get a new release of Aspen. And this one included some enhancements for purchase suggestions. If you use the Aspen purchase suggestion system, you can now receive an email alert when there is a new purchase suggestion. So anytime a patron creates a new suggestion, it could go to a staff email list. I will note we've already had some requests to add multiple emails for individual staff, and it does need to be one email address. So most likely an email listserv is going to be your best bet there. So if you would like to set that up, you can just put in a ticket at help@swanlibraries.net. If you don't currently use the Aspen purchase suggestions and you're interested in learning more, please do attend our office hours that's coming up soon. I believe that's in April.
I think we got it covered here at the end here. So
Okay. I did not have that date, the exact
That's
date
okay.
quite ready. I think it's April
Yeah.
12th.
Yeah.
And then you can also set a custom from email address, and you can do this yourself in the staff settings. We've got documentation on our support site, but that will allow if you want to respond to a patron, then they would get an email address. You could either set a no reply email if you don't want them to reply, or you could also use, say a staff listserv or something like that, so that you could communicate with the patron via email if you have questions, etc., about the item they're requesting.
Okay. I'm not seeing any other questions come in about that. Thanks for sharing that. I'm glad to see this is an improvement. And Crystal, you wanted to highlight the circulation managers checklist and a mentor program that we have going.
Yes, this is new and exciting. So Circulation Advisory Group has started a new circulation managers mentor program. So for any new circulation managers out there that might be starting and just need to get kind of onboarded with Swan, they usually will send in a ticket to us. And now what we will be doing is pairing them up with one of our circulation advisory group members, and just so that they have a contact within Swan to kind of help answer any questions or just get familiar with the support site, or just get familiar with any billing questions or just anything that they might need help with, just so that they have a friendly face and a contact in the room. So with that, we started thinking, well, what would a new circulation manager really need to know? So after some extensive homework and a lot of paring down things, we came up with this circulation managers checklist, and we debuted it at our last circulation advisory meeting. And we were asked to please put this on the support site for everyone to see. So I just kind of wanted to show where that is now. Under members, after you log in under members, under onboarding and offboarding, there is that circulation managers checklist. So that's there for everyone to view. And also will be kind of a helping guide for the mentors to just kind of make sure that they, can talk about these helpful reports, what is NCOA, how to help with anyone's IPLAR, things like that. So just give them a starting point to have those type of conversations. And as always, we are just one ticket away. And we just wanted to share that kind of new and exciting news and program that we're offering. I'm done. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's just bring ourselves to a conclusion here. We have some upcoming office hours. So these are events that we're holding with SWAN staff. They're really meant to be sort of a drop-in, like having the ability to drop in with a specific question or just a general question. And the idea here is we're doing this virtually so that staff here at SWAN are kind of the functional experts are there. So if you've got, acquisitions, cataloging, or serials questions, come to the cataloging office hours coming up. This slide deck will be included with the archive for this fireside. So if you're curious about, those that I'm sharing here, there'll be links from this directly to L2 where everything is posted. We've also updated our events in L2 to allow for registration. Initially, when we posted all of our SWAN events in L2 for 2023, we didn't have registration, but we decided to go back and add that in. It seems useful for folks that are signing up for these events to be able to get their email reminders via L2. There's a number of other office hours listed here, circulation ILL and outreach. Of course, our analytics office hours also coming up April 19th. And then there's a coffee hour that we call it, which is a drop-in to meet with me. This is something that we're encouraging directors that are new to their position maybe in SWAN that want to huddle up, ask a few questions. There's a dedicated hour to this coming up April 24th at 1:30 p.m. Other meetings coming up, already noted, office hours. I think we were also wanting to note that some of the Aspen meeting coming up April 12th at 2 p.m. That was something I think Tara wanted you to, if you wanted to learn more about those purchase suggestions, getting that going, come to that office hour. We also have meetings coming up. We've already noted there's a Comics Plus demo, the Aspen Users Group, which is our new users group, will be meetings April 11th. 2 circulation group meetings. It's our advisor group and the user group. The user group are always chaired by a member of the SWAN library community. So circulation users is also taking place in terms of its discussion about topics. Can't tell you just offhand if they're finishing up that agenda for that meeting. They're probably discussing it in the SWAN community forums. The SWAN board meeting coming up April 21st. These are rotated. They meet in person. The SWAN board has been rotating between board member libraries and will be meeting at Bloomingdale. And I've already noted the director's coffee hours. So if there's anything you're looking for in L2, we made it easy where we tagged all our events. If you just did a search with the keyword term, just SWAN 2023, you'll be able to easily bring up all of these events. Our next fireside is Tuesday, April 25th at 11 a.m. See you there for that. I was trying to think if there's any holidays coming up that are worth noting, and I did see that there's a National Grilled Cheese Sandwich Day, April 12th. So make sure to get your sandwich queued up and ready for that day. Thanks for joining. I'm going to stop the recording in a sec here, and then we'll hang around for anyone that wants to chat and not be recorded for posterity. So.